Just so you know, spoilers ahead. Today, we will be talking about the 7 Easter eggs in Tears of the Kingdom. For a lot of people out there, this is the first Zelda game that they've ever played. The massive overworld, sky, and the underworld is a breath of fresh air, and holds a lot of secrets. If you haven't played any of the other Zelda games in the series, the item and location names won't tell you much and probably seem random at best. But if you have played the other games, you might have already noticed some of them, and if you're a hardcore fan like I am, then you've analyzed it to death. Before we jump in, I want to give a massive shout out to Banoon for being the ride or die research extraordinaire of this channel. She has written nearly this entire episode and contributed many of the scripts on this channel, so thank you so much, Banoon. We also have a lot of exciting subjects down the line. The next one I'm working on is a collaboration about the Temple of Time with Quest with Aaron. So, if you like Zelda lore, remember to subscribe to the channel to help us hit the 100k subscriber goal by 2024. With that being said, let's jump in. Rare Fake Zelda Encounters. There is a questline for the Lucky Clover Gazette that gives more insight about the people in Hyrule trying to find Zelda. Everyone is concerned with getting her back, though the Yiga clan has different plans in mind. When did disguises become part of the Yiga clan? Obviously, Ganondorf has the power to impersonate Zelda, but it seems like technology flew off the shelf faster than Yunobo became cringe.
Hell no, man. What the fuck?
There is a fake Zelda on top of the dueling peaks and is associated with most of the regional phenomena, which, remember to take a selfie with Zelda if you find her. If you have the entire Yiga set and have also completed the potential princess sightings, there's a rare opportunity to meet a fake Zelda at the very same place Link met King Rome. I actually found this secret on the Easter Egg Hunters channel, so go give him a like and check him out. And his video will be linked in the description below. I also just kind of think this is cool, you know? Like that the Yiga were so like five-headed about this that they knew to go to this spot because it's sentimental to Link and like maybe he would find Zelda there. And I don't know, I thought it was cool. Hyrule's best vocalizer. The music in Tears of the Kingdom is similar to the ones in Breath of the Wild, but a little different. It seems to be a little bit more prominent, yet still kinda hidden. The music is wisely chosen to fit the environment of the player, so you can really feel what each of Hyrule's citizens and regions go through. Each holds a small reference to the previous games, and I'm not going to explain all of them here, but yet, the music isn't as it was in the prior games. There, the music was in your face. It was always there. The soundtracks were amazing, and you could really hear each song from it in the game. In Tears of the Kingdom, it's a bit different. There still are tracks that can be heard in the game, like the Calgera theme. Which is just perfect. But there's some music that you either don't recognize at first, or even worse, skip every time that it comes up. We don't know much about Link himself, but who would have thought that he's into music? Not me. See, most people, including me, skip mostly every reoccurring cutscene once it's seen once.
Skip. But when does this game get fucking
This
good?
includes, of course, the tiny cutscenes that you get while cooking. Link throws things into a pot, then waits while watching it until it's done. That's it. Or is it? Watching and listening to the cutscene reveals something super cute. Link starts humming, but not only random notes. No, he's actually humming old titles from past games. For example, Saria's song. Zelda's Lullaby. Or the Ballad of the Goddess. Those songs can't be heard in Tears of the Kingdom's overworld the way that Link is humming them. I guess, like, maybe perhaps Zelda music theory can... Oh.
Actually, you might do it minor. The original overworld theme from Zelda 1, and one of my personal favorites. Next.
Oh wait, he already did. So this Easter egg is easy to miss because, let's be serious, no one wants to watch the same cutscene 50 times in a row. But as you see, sometimes it's worth watching the useless cutscenes. Maybe consider not skipping the cutscene and actually enjoying it while his princess is stuck in the past. Wait, don't you have a mission, Link? The Giant's Masks. For many people, this is their first Zelda game. Welcome to the community, by the way. While playing the game, you can unlock cutscenes, and most of them are playing in the past. There are the sages that fought against Ganondorf. Or kind of, you see their faces are hidden behind animal masks. If you haven't played any of the other Zelda games, not even Breath of the Wild, then their only connection given is that these animals are also represented in the temples. But what if I tell you that this isn't the first time that we see the masks worn by the 4 different races and the animals represented? Let's go one step back. In Breath of the Wild, the prequel to Tears of the Kingdom, the world is dominated by Shikatek, shrines, guardians, and divine beasts. Those are gigantic animal-shaped robots and are controlled by the chosen pilots. It is said that the divine beasts were made in honor of the sages of old times. If we look at the mask and the divine beast, we can see clearly that they are almost identical. So this Easter egg is really easy to find, but this is a smaller reference. The names of the sages from the past were never mentioned or referenced here. We know that divine beasts have a connection to the sages. Ruda, Rudania, Meadow, and Naboris. I mean, heck, even the Zora stories mentioned Ruda twice. They do all have Va in front of their names, so I left it out because it seems like this wasn't part of their original name, but an addition for the robots. What's more is that the Italian voice actor for the Fire Sage slipped up and confirmed that his character name is Darunia. This could be referencing the sages from Ocarina of Time. But do you know what's not that easy to notice? The connection to another game, Majora's Mask. There we have a fight with the 4 bosses to obtain their masks, each belonging to a different region. What I think is even more interesting about this whole thing is that there were the gods of the 4 worlds. After watching Gossip Geist's incredibly thorough breakdown of why he believes this isn't the same game as Breath of the Wild, I can't help but feel this alternate reality vibe. It all seems very Majora's Mask, and the sages bearing the mask kind of solidifies it for me. Level 8. Most of us haven't played the original Legend of Zelda, either because it's too old or too hard. I mean, you literally have to play it with the manual. Either way, it was the start of our favorite game franchise. There were already a ton of references to it in Breath of the Wild, and it seems like now there are even more. There is the theory by Zeltic that Mekar Island is a reference to the first dungeon in Zelda 1. But what if I tell you there's another dungeon referenced? In Breath of the Wild, those ruins were covered in darkness and hard to explore. But now, in Tears of the Kingdom, darkness is gone, and you can see the ruins beneath. Interestingly, there is a spot where you can find a 3-headed dragon statue. To Breath of the Wild's time, people said that it's a reference to the first Gleeok from the 8th dungeon, called Level 8. And fun fact, in this dungeon, Link can pick up the magic book to upgrade the magic wand. The magic wand is described in the North American localization of the manual as, quote, a wand that a wizrobe uses. Wave it to let loose some magic spells. What's more, if Link picks up the magic book and learns some new spells, he can chant some fiery spells and send out flames. But in the Japanese version, it says, a wizrobe's rod that can be used to cast spells, and if you pick up the Bible, yes, the Bible, you'll be able to cast fire spells. I just thought this was kind of a neat piece of additional lore for the wizrobes. Anywho, now that the map has extended, we can see what's beneath. Who would have guessed? This so-called Gleeok Den. And we don't find just any Gleeok here. It's the King Gleeok. This is a nice callback to the first game. and also a great homage to the first Gleeok. This was also the first Gleeok that I rocked in the game, so all hail the great King Gleeok. The Separated Dream Team. In Gerudo Desert, the legend of the 7 heroines is well known. Those are the giant warrior statues of women, each with a sword standing in a signature Gerudo pose. The Gerudo people praise the figures and do have depictions of them in their own town. In Breath of the Wild, this is a great mystery that no one can explain. Who were they? The mystery goes even further when you find out there's an 8th hidden one. In Tears of the Kingdom, we get to learn more about them. We still don't know exactly who they were, but it is now clear that those were just strong women that protected the town, and sadly not a representation of the sages, but not the 8th one. This one is hidden for a purpose. There were many theories to Breath of the Wild's time, including Monster Maze, who did 2 of them, that this could be Ganondorf or Zelda or Link. Turns out, with the last suggestion, we weren't that wrong. In a secret cave behind the 8th heroine, we can find out that this was a Vo, or a man, that helped the Gerudo women as proud women. They couldn't just tell the people that a man had to help them, so to still show their respect, they made one and hid it. Maybe you are asking, where's the Easter egg? I know the statue doesn't represent Tears of the Kingdom's Link, but a Link. At the top of the Gerudo Highlands, we are able to find the sword of the 8th heroine missing. This is, even in Breath of the Wild, a reference to our hero, who helps all races and is separated from his sword, just like the heroine and her sword. Ganondorf's mothers. In Tears of the Kingdom, you may be curious about who is in Ganondorf's posse. A bunch of Gerudo women dressed in black seem to be supporting Ganondorf. Then there's these 2. They are in the cutscene behind Ganondorf as he swears fealty to Hyrule Kingdom and the Gerudo Assault. The Gerudo women are Kume and Kitake. If you are unfamiliar with these characters, consider downloading Ocarina of Time for the Switch. Trust me. In Ocarina of Time, they are the bosses of the Spirit Temple, a pair of 400-year-old witches. According to page 45 of the encyclopedia, they maintained their long lives by using powerful magic. Each of them respectively wield ice and fire. The markings on the headbands have red and blue borders, likely representing ice and fire. Another interesting thing is that they are capable of brainwashing a victim. They have vigorously trained Ganondorf, as his proficiency in dark, powerful magic is pretty much unmatched. This extends into Tears of the Kingdom. To pay homage to his mothers, each of his weapons has been inscribed with their names. A Lyrulean historian pointed out these inscriptions on the Gloom Blades. This inscription looks kind of funny. Huh. And to me, it seems like their headbands are still wrapped around the sage's sword. This is such a cool callback and a really cool reference to one of the most beloved games in the series. On to the 7th, the power of the gods. At the start of the game, the Master Sword was not only damaged, but it was almost completely destroyed. There weren't a lot of instances where the Master Sword was, let's say, incomplete. In most games, the sword was upgradable, but it could be used against Ganon without an upgrade. The only instance where we weren't able to use the sword as it is Skyward Sword, another reference to a first. Here, we get the goddess White Sword inside of the great Mother Hylia statue and have to bathe it in the 3 sacred flames. They represent the 3 virtues of the goddesses. Hylia blesses it so it becomes the true Master Sword. The reference to the plot is more subtle and hard to notice at first, but it's there. Let me explain. First, you can get the white sword of the sky from the mommy statue by offering the claws of the dragons, which also represent the virtues of the goddesses at their respective spring, just like in Skyward Sword. But there's even more. The sword follows Zelda to the past, and there she connects with it by becoming a dragon. There were multiple relics that were considered to be holy in one way or another. For example, the sacred flames in Skyward Sword. The spiritual stones from Ocarina of Time Link has to collect to prove himself worthy before entering the Temple of Time. Some have special abilities and are just there to be there. The ocarina, for instance, has the ability to make you travel through time by playing it. Or the sacred bow that uses the sacred power of the goddesses to make arrows that pierce through the darkness. Then there's this one relic, the most powerful, in almost every Zelda game. This was the most powerful relic in Hyrule. It is said to contain the power of the gods. If you have all three pieces, then you can wish for whatever you want. The catch is, your heart has to be balanced. The Triforce does not distinguish between good or evil, and will grant a wish by its interpretation of it. But only one who has a heart that is balanced in power, wisdom, and courage can wield it. When you try to touch it, and your heart is not balanced, it will split, leaving you with only the piece that represents your heart the most. But why am I explaining the legendary Triforce? That is well established in all the other games in the series. Oh yeah, I remember. Because neither Breath of the Wild nor Tears of the Kingdom mentions the Triforce at all. And those of you who are in your first Zelda game, you don't even know what the Triforce is. No hidden dialogue, no Sheikah text, nothing. But we do see depictions of it here and there. On the Temple of Time wall, in Hyrule Castle's throne room, and some random ruins here and there. But no explanation as to what this is like we got in previous games. There are great videos by both Monster Maze and Hyrule Gamer linked in the description below. And we're not even here to talk about Breath of the Wild, we're here to talk about Tears of the Kingdom. So, the Triforce depictions do still exist. There is now even more, the Zonai clothing and Sonia's tattoos for example. But do you know what is also there, but you haven't noticed? The Triforce on Zelda's hand. When and where do you ask? In Breath of the Wild, it was the moment when Zelda sealed Ganon. The Triforce on her hand was glowing. But what about Tears of the Kingdom, you ask? Zelda is floating in this bright place when she turns into the dragon. She's also holding the Master Sword. Don't you see it? Oh, here, let me help you. There. The sword was not only imbued with Zelda's own sacred power, but also the power of the Triforce itself. That's why it turns yellow when drawn from Zeldra. It is powered with the most sacred and powerful power, the power of the three golden goddesses, and Hylia, as she is the reincarnation of Hylia. So 4 goddesses bless the sword. No wonder Ganondorf can't break it this time. Over the years, Zelda has blessed the sword again and again using her Hylia power. Not only that, but if you lower the saturation on this cutscene, you can see that, just like in Breath of the Wild, Zelda's powers are related to the Triforce and are represented by a glowing Triforce symbol on her hand. This solidifies the reference as the sword. Again, it's imbued with the powers of the 3 goddesses and is blessed by Zelda. A hard to notice secret, but a great one once you've noticed it. Something tells me that this isn't it for the Master Sword. After teasing 5 for 2 games now, I hope for some DLC content focused around Fi and her journey within the Master Sword, perhaps bringing back one of the most feared characters within the Zelda series. Anywho, thank you so much for watching, and remember to subscribe if you enjoyed the content to help us reach our goal of hitting 100k by 2024. There is a lot of Tears of the Kingdom content on the way, and don't miss out, hit that notification bell. Thank you so much to all of our channel members. You are helping us in this economy. Anywho, thank you so much for your support, and I'll see you in the next one.